This video will show you how to replace your coolant temp sensor on this Toyota Corolla. This will be located along the driver's side of your engine. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we want to do is make sure the cooling system's cool to the touch. Make your way over to the radiator cap. Double check to make sure it's not warm in any way. We'll continue on by pressing this down and turning counterclockwise to remove it from the radiator. Make sure you lift up and away from your face. There it is, friend. A quick inspection, and we can reinstall that. Now that confirms that we don't have any pressure inside of the cooling system, but it's also going to help prevent coolant from making its way out when we remove the coolant temp sensor along the driver's side of the engine. So the coolant temp sensor is deep down in this area, so we can gain a little bit more access. Just go ahead and lift up on the engine cover. We can remove that. Now, if you were following my pry bar all the way down in this area, we can see the electrical connector for our coolant temp sensor. Now on my application, the connector locking tab is right up along the top. It really depends on how that coolant temp sensor is set. It might be down along the bottom. Just go ahead and find it, squeeze it in, and we'll pull it out of place. There we are. A quick inspection for corrosion, set that aside. Now we're going to start removing the original coolant temp sensor, but first, just have a quick look at your brand new coolant temp sensor. We need to confirm we have our gasket on the threaded area, and there's thread sealant. Now if you were looking at this, you can tell that we're going to have to use a 19mm socket, but it has to be deep enough to make its way over this plastic electrical connector. We want to have this handy, so when we remove the coolant temp sensor, we can swap it out with the brand new coolant temp sensor as quick as possible. Make sure you have a collection receptacle under this area so you can collect and recycle all coolant properly. Using a 1/2-inch drive 19mm, because that's deep enough to make its way over this. Typically, once you have it broken free, you should be able to spin it out by hand. Now, as I mentioned, once we do remove this, you want to go ahead and put in the brand new coolant temp sensor as quick as possible. Start it in by hand and we'll snug it up. Make sure the gasket's off of the engine. We'll start this one in. All right, there's our original coolant temp sensor. Now we can torque that to 14 foot-pounds. Once you have that torqued, go ahead and reconnect your electrical connector. Line up your locking tab, listen for a click. A light tug confirming it's properly secured. After you have that in there, the next thing you need to do is go ahead and clean up the mess in this area. Collect all that in your receptacle and recycle it. Now it's time for the engine cover. As far as the engine cover, just have a quick peek along the bottom. You're going to find that you have several rubber grommets, and if you were looking at the engine valve cover or the intake, you're going to find that there's tabs for those to slide onto. For this, typically what I do is I bring it over into place, I align it with my oil cap and my oil dipstick, and then press it down. Double check, make sure that's secure. It's time to fill the cooling system. Of course, we lost a little bit of coolant along the way. We're back over at the radiator cap. We'll turn that counterclockwise to remove it. There's several different ways of filling a cooling system. If you have one of these funnels, it's generally easiest if you lose only a little bit of coolant. We'll remove the stopper in there. Continuing on, we're using the manufacturer's specified coolant. We're going to apply approximately half of this funnel. And now the next thing we have to do is hop in the vehicle. We're going to start it, let it run for a short while. What we'll find is that once the cooling fans turn on, the coolant will be circulating throughout the entire cooling system and removing any air. As that's happening, air's going up and coolant's going down, so the coolant level will make its way down the funnel. Just double check to make sure that the cooling system's full once you're done. Okay, so we've run the vehicle now. We removed as much of the air from in the system as possible. We can get our adapter off of here and set that aside. Once you're sure the coolant's full, reinstall your radiator cap. Okay friend, we finished the installation of our coolant temp sensor and we filled the cooling system. Make sure you've cleaned any mess. After that, go ahead and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.